Hello and welcome to another video with me, Alex. This time we're going to be looking at coordinate geometry in the XY plane, and this is going to match up with the Edexcel C2 Chapter 4 if you're following along like that. And this is a chapter that doesn't have a lot of content in, there's not really much to it. The difficulty of this chapter is that they will throw the content into lots of different scenarios, and you're expected to use skills that you've learned before in C1, such as how you work out a perpendicular line or a tangent, or all of these sorts of things, and also things like circle theorem from back at GCSE. So that's going to be the difficulty. We're just going to cover the content, and I'm going to do one example as well for the first part, just to show you a fairly simple example that will hopefully give you a bit of a better idea as to what the kind of questions they could ask you. I will warn you that the example I'm going to show you is quite an easy one. It's not a particularly challenging one. They get a lot harder than the one I'm going to show you. It's just that I don't want it to take too long in the video. Okay, so let's get started with the content. The first thing that we're going to look at is the midpoint of a line. Okay, so what are we going to need for this? Well, let's imagine that we've got some line, a straight line here, that goes from x1, x2, x1, y1 even, to x2, y2, and we want to know what the coordinates are of the midpoint. Okay, now this is pretty simple. All we're going to do is we're going to need to find the midpoint of the x coordinates, and likewise we're going to need to find the midpoint of the y coordinates. Okay, and the way that we find them is really pretty simple. For the x coordinates and the y coordinates, we just add the two coordinates together and divide by 2. Effectively, we're finding the mean of the two coordinates. Okay, we're finding the average. So this becomes x1 plus x2 all over 2. This becomes y1 plus y2 all over 2. Okay, which means that the midpoint of any line connecting x1, y1 and x2, y2 is given by x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. And that's it. That's the first part of content for this chapter. And this is the bit that I'm going to show you an example of how they might get you to use it. Right, here we've got what is quite a simple example. Okay, what we've got is we've been given a circle of centre C, and we're told that A and B are points on the circle that when we draw a line between them, they pass through the centre. So we've got a diameter here of the circle, and we're also told that this line L passes through the centre of the circle as well, passes through C, and we're simply asked to find the equation of L. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the centre of this circle is. And all we're going to have to do that is find the midpoint of A and B. Okay, so midpoint AB is going to be given by, well, our formula is x1 plus x2 over 2, so that's minus 1 plus 5 over 2, and 4 plus 2 over 2, which is going to be 2, 4 over 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. Okay, 2, 3. That's going to be the midpoint, which is also C. So that's the centre of the circle. The next thing that we're going to want to find out is the gradient of line AB. I'm going to call that M. And that's going to be equal to, from previous maths that we've done, even at GCSE and at C1, it's the change in y over the change in x. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It doesn't matter which one I call y1 and y2 as long as I am consistent between x and y. So this is going to be 4 minus 2 over minus 1 minus 5, which is going to be 2 over minus 6, which is equal to minus a third. Okay, so that's the gradient of the line AB. Now, we were told in the question that L was perpendicular to AB. Sorry, I may not have mentioned that at the beginning, but we are told that L is perpendicular to AB, which means that we know that M for L is equal to minus 1 over M for AB, which means it's equal to minus 1 over minus a third, which is equal to 3. Okay, so we now know the gradient of L, we know a point that it passes through, we know everything that we need to know to work out the equation of the line, and we're going to use the formula y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1, and we'll get that y minus 3 is equal to 3 bracket x minus 2, so y minus 3 is equal to 3x minus 6, y is equal to 3x minus 3. And that there is our equation for L. Simple as that. So that's the kind of question that you might be expected to do using this simple content of the midpoint of a line. Let's move on. The next thing that we're going to need to know is we need to work out the distance between 2 points. Okay. So we're going to have exactly the same setup that I had before. We have 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. And this time all we want to know is the distance or the length of this line, which I'm going to call d. Okay, and all we have to do for this is we are simply going to construct a right angle triangle, and we are going to use Pythagoras. So I'm going to call this A, I'm going to call this B, and I'll have that d squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, but a is equal to the change in x, right? So we have that a is equal to x2 minus x1 squared, and likewise b is the change in y, y2 minus y1 all squared. So d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared, add y2 minus y1 all squared. Excuse me. Okay, brilliant. That's that bit of content done as well. Likewise with before, there are loads of different scenarios that they can throw at you, and the only way that you're going to be really prepared for the exam is by doing lots and lots of exam questions, and you'll be able to work out all the different sorts of questions that they can ask you. Right, we've got one last bit of content, which is we have to be able to work out the equation. The equation of a circle. Okay, now I'm going to show you where the equation of a circle comes from through an example. Okay, so we're going to look at this circle. And it's going to be this circle like that. Okay, and I'm going to say that this has got a center of 6, 7, and it's got a radius of 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to label this point some point on the circle xy. Okay, doesn't matter what point it is, it's any general point on the circle. And then just like on the distance between 2 points, I'm going to set up a right angle triangle, again A and B. Okay, and I'm going to be able to write, using Pythagoras, that a squared plus b squared is equal to 3 squared, right? Nice and simple, okay? But we're going to have that A is equal to, well, what's A equal to? It's equal to x minus 6, and B is equal to y minus 7. Okay, so substituting them in, we get that x minus 6 squared add y minus 7 squared is equal to 3 squared. Okay, and that there is general for any point x and y on this circle. So this is our equation of a circle. Okay, this here is the form of the equation of a circle for any circle. Okay, but this one is obviously specific to the circle that we've drawn. In general, the equation of a circle is this: x minus a all squared add y minus b all squared is equal to r squared, where r is the radius and the point A, comma B is the center. And that is it. That is all of the content for this chapter. As I said, it's going to be applied in lots of different circumstances, and you need to be aware of what they are. And I'd advise you just do lots and lots of past paper questions on this sort of stuff, and that will set you up perfectly for the exam. Right, if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments and I will endeavour to answer them. Subscribe for more videos, and if you'd like me to make a video on a certain topic, just send me a message and I will try and do that for you. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.